Welcome. Please do the same thing. Introduce yourself and your hotel, and I'll take my iPad.
Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Dayna. I'm in my fourth week as area VP Sales and Marketing at Highgate. I'm based in the Desert. So many of you know it's an active tourist hotel as well as corporate. I have several other hotels as well, and I was formerly in Southampton, New York, so I might bring out like this long during conversation.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter McNamee. I'm with the Motto by Hilton Times Square. One of Hilton's newer lifestyle brands. We just celebrated our second year at Auburn.
Good afternoon. My name is Octavia Marginean-Tahiroglu. I am the general manager at the St. Regis Hotel, New York.
Hello everyone, my name is William Parris, and I'm the director of sales at the Park South Hotel, which is reviewed by.
So just quickly start writing notes. How many rooms are in each of your hotels or all of your hotels?
We are 238, not residences, so we service 300 rooms total.
And we have 400 rooms.
330 at the moment.
108 but working with 4 bars.
Okay, so let's just get into it. And so you guys are, managing. How do you interact with the guests and how do you manage the relationship between the guests and the activities? Dayna, you want to start?
Sure. Well, from the sales and marketing side, we have a lot of interactions. I'm going to get right all naturally. I always encourage places to not forget about the sales marketing teams because we're another avenue for you to sell to our guests that are coming in, particularly on the group side, whether it's leisure or corporate. So there's many opportunities there. And of course, on the marketing side, too, for promos and potential partnerships as well.
And as the general manager, it's my job to make sure that all of our information regarding attractions and things to do in the area are updated on our website, but also making sure that the front desk is aware of what's going on. And I annoy them by speaking to guests and kind of trying to play on their status when I have a chance to, because it's part of the fun of the job. But also making sure that they can experience some of your attractions so that they can recommend them to our guests.
I think that we have many roles as general managers, many heads, and one of them is to ensure that we are offering a platform for employees to work effectively with the guests. And that sometimes starts and I'm within the concierge team at the pre-arrival. And I think that many board members, or if you are working with many of such companies, it's a standard to have pre-arrival. So we send pre-arrival planners or newsletters and we update as the guest is getting closer and closer to the arrival day. So we have enough time to prepare for stays. And the overarching role that we have is to enhance the experiences and provide feedback to the centers in the city, so our city stays a major attraction for the world.
One thing that you'll hear me say, or you'll hear me repeat, is relationships. It's really about the relationships. It's the relationships between the attractions and the relationships between the staff in the hotel. As a director of sales, I make a point, as busy as I am, every single day without fail, I go to the front desk. And I spend a few moments with the front desk to ask them what they're seeing, what's going on. I shoot the breeze, I ask them, things that are going on in their life, their kids. But in return, they share the guests, what's going on, what they see, and what I can tap into as the director of sales. Even in terms of relationships, we deal with groups, and we also deal with how corporate travelers. We put welcome back banners, welcome esteemed globalists, happy anniversary, happy birthday across the boundary of the door when the guests come into our hotel. That brings the guys, they're surprised, they're shocked, and it executes conversation because it's not something that they expected. It goes back to the relationships. It's speaking to my corporate clients to find out who are the VIPs, why are they coming in, what are they looking forward to, what do they want when they come in. I ask if there's a particular beverage that they want. But if there's an attraction or something that they're interested in specifically, that gives me an opportunity to be able to make recommendations based on things that I know. I have a question for the audience. Does anyone know Barbara? No? Who does know Barbara Cartello? If you don't know Barbara Cartello, raise your hand. If you don't know who I'm talking about. Barbara is actually at our front desk. She knows everybody. She is a walking encyclopedia for New York City. She knows the restaurants, she knows the hot spots, she knows where to go. And if you don't know the Barbaras of the world, you are missing an opportunity.
So, before I,
It's a bitch.
and I want to get back to, but before I go, I made a mistake. I forgot to introduce Drew Davis, who's sitting behind the screen. I didn't see him, the last member of our team. So I apologize. All right, let's get into what you imagine very important VIPs, because certainly in the luxury properties, but in all properties, you've got special people coming that expect to be treated differently. So, Octavia, why don't you kick it off as to what you do, because you probably have perhaps the most VIPs, you and Maurice.
Yes, it is true. So what do we do for VIPs? First of all, everyone who affords entry is a VIP. So let's trim it down and narrow it to attractions and to what the very important people are looking for. They're looking for experiences that are exclusive and exceptional. So to dive deeper into this exclusivity, at this level of clientele, your product needs to be really compatible. They are not looking to go to an Empire State Building. They're buying the private tour, and that goes another Empire State Building. So it's a very different type of clientele. And I think that that's very important from the vendors, not to bombard hotels with offerings. It's very important as a business that you know very well your tier and what you offer, and we target it with heavy duty ammunition, because that's how we're going to win. And if you have a product for certain clients, they are looking for the in-person private with the Broadway top performer. And I'll give you an example. About 10 days ago or less, we had a private party where the big stars of Great Ed came and performed for a very high-end group. We had 4 clients on Middle East itineraries that were looking into 2 or 3 days to actually like top-notch attractions and saw different points of actually New York State, including taking the place to the Hamptons, even though it was winter and using, but they just selected the Hamptons. So it's very important that, those VIPs, when we call and you have the businesses in the city, we usually get a first response, like the first responders, because they know it will be very exclusive. They will pay top dollars for it. They will not complain whatever price tag it has. And if businesses can craft this type of experiences, taking when they're not in their business model, they will win. They will win with guests that are at Regis or in the high diamond properties like Maurice's. And there's right now about 15 to 20 top luxury hotels in the city. And that's what the VIPs want.
So, big thing about that. Peter, or something you want to add?
So our guests are on the opposite end. We tend to get a lot of leisure guests. So our brand is geared towards urban adventures. We're in major markets or like adventure areas. So people are looking for an experience to experience our city like a local would. we're in the middle of Times Square, so most of us as locals aren't going anywhere near there. That being the case, it's great for our team to know if somebody's coming down to the Empire State Building. First of all, it took me 10 minutes to get here. It's great. But what else is there in the area so that people can make the most of their visit? Is there something you can recommend? So even not knowing just about your attraction, but what's close in the area, what can our guests bundle on to make the most of their time here in the city? Because there's a lot to do.
Let's switch to the group side. So you willing to put that a little bit. So you book your groups in advance. How should they work with you? What advice do you have?
Sure. I always encourage our team to ask a little bit more, which takes a little bit more time from the sales team. But, of course, why are you coming here? What is your vision? Where are the people coming from? And do you have time to do an extracurricular of some kind? And to take that extra minute, 2 or 3. And so I've had not concierge, but venues that have their come to our sales meetings, actually, for example, and do presentations. So I think it's important to understand where your lane is in terms of, is the right property profiles for your service or product. And also stop by the sales office or make it a time to be a part of the sales meeting. So you can have 5-10 minutes, with the sales team, particularly for some of the larger group houses. And it could be very beneficial for you, getting to know some of the sales people also, whether it's on the corporate side or the leisure side, both promote your products and services for sure. So,
Well, speaking specifically about groups, whenever we have an equity for a group, we're always trying to gain as much information as possible. Why are they coming here? Is it just a meeting? Will they have a break? Will they have any leisure time? These are the questions that we ask. And once we get that information, we send a digital proposal. And in that digital proposal, not only does it talk about about the features of the hotel, but in addition to that, besides the rates and the office information, but it also has a tab that lists things to do when you're here. So we have a section in our digital proposal that can speak to the attractions and things that are available to do in a city. But we will only know that if we have the relationship with the attraction, because we have the opportunity to speak to that client before they get here. Or say, I still in your digital proposal that you have such and such. Our group is looking for something to do. That's an opportunity, once again, for the attractions to communicate and let us know that you're available. I also want to mention something else, too. I spoke to Barbara before I came here, and she mentioned that prior to the pandemic, there was a lot more interaction between the attractions and the desk and the concierge. And she says, since the pandemic, that has really dropped off. So my recommendation is to create a fan. Come up with something that brings you and gets you in front of everyone. We don't have a concierge, but Barbara and the whole front desk team operates like a concierge. But I think that they only know, well, I'll put it this way, they don't know what they don't know. So it's really up to the team, up to the attractions to reach out and do a fan. Come by. I would even host a little small gathering for you just to speak to the team. But that's up to you. You would have to initiate that because there's so many of you in here. I wouldn't know where to begin, but we are all available, okay, to make that happen. And one of the things that both Octavia and Peter mentioned was certainly the experience. And there was something else, but I forgot. It'll come in.
So exclusivity. So I'll just kick in. Most of you already know this. We can be your conduit. The guy can be your conduit for arranging these. We have our database of literally 1,400 front desk concierge people. And this part of our relationship is to help facilitate educating the hotels and help you get your information out. So it doesn't have to be as hard as than these people have said, because there's way more of you than there are of them. And we could be the next. Sure, we can. Yeah.
I have another question, and this is kind of for the panel. How many of you have a destination trip? Well, guess what? You're the destination trip. So
You got my next question. Thank you.
One other thing, just wanted to point out, we had a pre-call last week, and it was interesting to hear all of our perspectives because every hotel operates differently. So our staffing rules are different, our concierge team or not is different, and so we just encourage you to be mindful that it's not a one-size-fits-all. So, every one of us has a different arrangement, and so we might need to tailor your approach a little bit. You might need to be a little bit more persistent, in one hotel or on hotel groups than in others, just by nature of our product as well. And so it's really understanding how to navigate those paths, because, it could take some time on your end, of course, but it's worth not being, transactional, if you will, but being more deliberate in your approach. So I just wanted to share that as well.
Relationships. Peter, sorry.
Another thing to keep in mind is, for example, our team does 2 outings per year. Our front desk team is actually going to Summit 1 tomorrow. So we're always looking for things to do with them. And that's a great way for them to get to know your attraction, whatever it is. So keep that in mind. And also, a lot of our teams have a meeting once a month or once every quarter. So that's also a great time. If you're getting your information out there, just, kind of keep in touch with whoever's in charge of the guest services team and ask them to present you to their team.
So, getting back to what William said, we're running out of time as expected. Destination fees, resort fees. Can you offer advice on how the attractions, whether it is attraction, a boat, a museum, can possibly work with you in conjunction with the packaging that you do, and how they should approach? So, William, why don't you kick it off?
I would say that in the destination fees, we feature certain activations that are in our Y hour, perhaps seating in a restaurant, so on. But in addition to that, we do feature attractions. And what is appealing to the recipient of that information is that they see 10%. That makes a big difference. 10% off of, a particular attraction, something that draws them in. They have now all of these options that they can choose from when they're coming into New York. And it also justifies the destination. So we can partner with different attractions, create a QR code or something that the guest can scan when they come into the hotel, because as a boutique hotel, unlike some of the larger properties, we don't have massive space. Our lobby is like someone's living room, but spacious. So I say that to say that something that can sit on the table, a QR code, any way for the guest while they're in the lobby sitting to say, hey, look, I wonder what that is. Scan the QR code and voila, now they're going to the summit. All right. So it's the assertiveness and taking the actions in order to give us the opportunity to sell you.
I do think that will create more volume if we work with. We are offering tickets and we're buying them at face value, European museums, which it sounds crazy, but it is the reality. So I think that, can we get to rotate and in order to, instead of the kind of museums that we're working with, to showcase other museums or other attractions? Yes, we can. Right now, that's the capabilities that we had. We don't have time. Our things are still 24 hours like anybody else is. And that's why we can come up with a way of what museums should be put out there, and that makes the most sense. So, good job. Yes, but I think that we can work with a lot more businesses towards that initial fee.
I'd echo that and say anything that if you have the capability of creating a special code per hotel, I know it's a lot, but you do that once, it seems like a really bespoke thing for our guests. They feel kind of individualized, and it's a great way to promote your business.
I think also it gets your name out and some people, but they measure name out, so use it, at least the exposures there. So, and just aligning yourself with the appropriate brand gear, properly type, really it makes sense. Putting your toe in the water, giving that discount to a particular group of hotels, trying to now see how it works. But at least you're getting deep there, and then we're having now.
All right, last question again, because we're out of time. What piece of advice can you offer all these people that are looking to appeal to your guests?
Good.
Well, definitely reach out to the sales and marketing team. I think they could open up a lot of doors for you. And also, I never hold a sales meeting in my hotel. I always have that outside the hotel. So in part to help the team see what's out there. So often we're so, in our box, so to speak, that we, it's good to get out. But definitely reach out to your sales and marketing departments. And, I have access to a lot of the Highgate properties, so I'd be happy to have floors straight out.
And for us, it's similar to what the concierge said. If we have a one-pager that gives us information and FAQs on how our guests can best experience your attractions, that helps a lot. And our brand and our team endeavor to try to have people experience the city in the best way they can, and as a local would. So people are looking for tips, tricks, secrets, things like that.
I would say that stay ahead of times. AI is the function going, but it's not going to eliminate the opinion. So critical thinking is what we bring to the table. I know it sounds crazy. To situations and you make your own opinion, oh my God. But that opinion can be done by the concierge team in the hotels that have concierge, that in the hotels that do not. Information is in reality is just a tool that we can dissipate efficiently, and it's just another channel of communication. So build relationships, because your business it's really as important as on which Rolodex is, and think of way to be accessible. Some retail businesses that are not accessible but they're desirable because of accessibility. It's important to be accessible. We can just be as proud as vain as we're relevant. So relevance is unfortunately ephemeral in New York City. So don't forget that. So that when you end up on the block, we're gonna be once get on the block. They're in New York City, yeah, 1 minute, little minute. So stay relevant, but in that relevance, build relationships, because relationships get to people, and people are attracted to other people. So use it wisely.
I'm going to try to keep the show maybe I might talk, but I have to really piggyback off of Octavia. She talked about being able to avoid Hirosh. I do like that about this, but I actually will personally market them and decide I follow them. When it's a distribution chat, and he has all the information I can tell you all about yourself just by casting Marcus in a distribution chat. Use it. It's amazing. Other than that, I will say, reach out. Okay, reach out. You've got 4 hotel museum and concierges over here. If you are in your office and you're doing the same role and you're sending out emails and all kinds of things like that, it's the personal touch that's going to make a difference. Invite the team out. Let them come and see. Let them experience what your attraction is. We don't know what we don't know. I had tickets to a show recently that I wasn't aware of. It was Jamie Talib's Amaze. Has anyone seen that? Well, it's amazing. And that that is a part that considerable when I brought that up. When I put that up, not too many people raised their hands. The show is absolutely phenomenal. So you agree?
Yes.
Absolutely phenomenal. And a bit disturbing, to be honest with you, because of the things I take to do. But I found that out because of someone that attended an agents in the meeting. Okay? So where were you? You need to be.
Yeah.
That's a break. Thank you. So, just for one more minute, we're going to wrap up. There were far more questions that we could have asked, a lot more to discuss. I think the bottom line is educate, reach out, make relationships. City Guide, that will be is here to help you, all our clients in any ways we can. We're here to help hotels as well. We think we're part of the Nexus. NYCTNC is also a wonderful partner and take advantage of them. So one more round of applause for both panels. You guys are